Hello everyone, my name's Jamie from All Movies Fresh. Before you go check out this video, go hit the like and subscribe button down below. Now today we're joined by special guest and actress star Rachel Andrews from this show Stay Close on Netflix. How have you been keeping, Rachel?
Hi, I feel really good. Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. So this is your first major breakthrough onto TV, and what a success it was. From your perspective, how is it starring in the show?
Oh, it's been kind of strange because I think because of COVID, there wasn't really a big screening event or anything like that. It kind of just came onto Netflix and then it's just on Netflix now. And I know that millions and millions of people have seen it, but I just go about my day-to-day life as usual.
Yeah,
But seeing it was so cool, and
yeah.
seeing it all to come together and seeing how the edit changed everything was quite amazing. That was really cool to see.
So, it's been a success all over the world. It's not just in the UK. It's been in the top 10 of it, well, most shows, most countries around the world. How have you been dealing with sort of the success of it all?
Again, it's more like it feels like an invisible thing, like no
Yeah,
one's actually seen it.
yeah,
But they really have. It's been exciting, I think, to know that people are really enjoying it and watching it with their families. That's a big deal. That feels like we've done something right, and I was involved in a project that was meaningful to people, even if it was just a bit of fun, for them binge watching it. And what's really cool is when you go on social media and people have opinions on everything and they're like
yeah.
and like live tweeting watching it and they're like, oh my gosh, Carlton just did this, who is that ginger lady, what's happening? That's really cool to see people actually being quite impassioned by it, like we would be to our favorite TV show or something like that.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, to be honest, from my perspective on the show was well, mind blowing. But when you got the script for this and then read through the whole thing, and then when you actually watched it back again, was the ending sort of, well, through the whole thing, it was a massive roller coaster. Were you still shocked by it, or was it sort of quite calmed down?
Okay, so here it was so funny
Yeah,
because we actually got, there was 8 scripts because 8 episodes, and we got each script in sort of chunks
okay,
as we went. So before shooting, I
yeah,
had only seen the first 3 episodes, read the first 3 episodes. So I didn't know what was going to happen, and then we started filming block 2, you get the next 3 episodes and then the last 2. So by the time that we were reading episode 8, it must have been summertime, so May or June. We had filmed most of the series, and I was on Zoom for the read through and reading that I had purposefully not read the episode of episode 8, the end of episode 8,
yeah.
because I wanted to experience it with all the other actors and on the table read. And so I was on Zoom, and my other Bethany Antonia, who plays
Yeah.
Kaylee Shaw, she was in a room somewhere, and apparently my face was really big on a TV screen of me just going at the end. Because the ending is
Yeah,
crazy.
it
What
is.
is happening? And I'd read the book, but it's not like the book.
Yeah,
And Harland, who's the author, he's actually an exec producer for Stay Close and for a lot of the other series that have been adapted of his.
yeah.
So he was involved in that, making it different. He wanted it to be different, but oh my God, was it different? I could not predict anything, and I've only met one person who accurately predicted one plot point, and that was it. No one else has been able to predict it, so it's very windy, to say the least.
I know, because you were saying in one interview that the show is completely different from the actual novel itself.
Yeah.
But have you had a chance to check out any other shows that based on Harlan's novels prior to starring in Stay Close?
So not prior to getting the job at Stay Close. So I got the role of B offered to me in December of 2020.
Okay.
So this was ages ago. And I had heard of The Stranger, but I had never seen it.
Okay.
And when I got the role, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna read the book, I'm gonna watch the stuff, whatever. So I started watching The Stranger, which stars Richard Armitage, who's also plays Ray in Stay Close. And I was a big fan of Richard anyway. And it was amazing. It was really good. I love thrillers and drama things like that. I think they're just, I think the fast pacedness of it is quite nice. It's like proper escapism from life, because stuff like that doesn't happen to me. Don't know about you. So I've watched The Stranger and Safe, of course, which they both resurged up into the top 10 of Netflix when Stay Close came out, because everyone else did the same thing, I guess. But yeah, he's got loads of series out. He's got French things and Spanish and everything. So he's killing it. He's doing amazing.
He's quite diversified, because I was reading about him, and he's, shows all around the world are, picking his novels up and, making them to shows. And I think it's a good thing that Netflix have grasped onto this and taken it, and look how successful it's become. I mean, all of the shows have done well, so we're looking forward to the next one as well. But this is not only just your although it's your first breakthrough, you've also got another you've got a film or drama coming out as well, Lady Chatterley Love. Are you looking forward to that being released as well?
Yeah, oh, that was such a fun job. I did sort of a few days on that job. I don't have a massive role, but it was such a great experience being on set with, it was a female director and a female lead, and it's a period piece, so it's all quite exciting for me, and wearing a corset and doing all of that for the first time. And like that, it was very exciting. And we shot it in Wales, which is beautiful. We were in Wrexham and Corris in Wales, and Corris is this tiny little village in the middle of nowhere, so it was like a 2-hour drive from Chester, I think 2.5 hours to a hotel, and then from the hotel like another hour to get to this tiny wee village. So yeah, it was so much fun. Emma Corrin stars as Lady Chatterley in that, who people might know her from Diana in The Crown. And she was really lovely to talk to her, because obviously she's a bit more of an experienced actor than me, and she's had a very different career start. And it was wonderful to watch her work. And I feel like that job for me was just lots of watching a set function and try and make it in my blood, because I'm quite new to the game, really.
What would you say that you've learned from both, Stay Close and starring in the drama? Is there anything that you've picked up from different actors and actresses that you can implement moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, definitely one thing that was like a huge thing to learn for me was every shot is a different, you need to cater towards every different shot. You can't just, in theatre, you're catering towards the audience and that's it, and you rehearse to where the audience is and that's it. But I think I didn't realise for screen acting that you, instead of ignoring the camera, which everyone tells you to do, because obviously you can't look at it, you should work with it and play with the camera. So if it's your close shot, you've got to really, be very contained with your performance, otherwise you'll seem like you're overacting. If it's a wide shot, you've got to show body language, but mostly it's just to see where the setting is. If it's like a mid shot or a two shot of two people, again, it's quite close up, You have to see where your face is going to be, see what the camera's going to see, because at the end of the day, you're telling a through line story and it has to sort of translate. And if you're just ignoring the camera, it might not be your best work. It might come off confusing. So definitely working with the camera is something that I've really had to pick up and learn how to do quite quickly.
Would you say COVID has had an impact on you auditioning for different shows and movies?
So I think it's just changed the industry quite a bit. So I only got my first representation in 2020. So I've never really known the industry before COVID. But I would say what it's done is just popularized self-taping. So if you say self-taping to any actor, they'll be like, oh yes, 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 because it's a huge part of people's life and their process now. So first round auditions will always be a self-tape. So they'll send you the scene and you'll do the scene, you'll film it with good lighting and a plain background and send it off, and then maybe do another self-tape or go in person, and then that's how it will work from now. But back before COVID, it was much more first rounds were in person. So there's definitely pros and cons to it. I think being there in the flesh is so valuable because you get a good vibe and you get to sort of connect with the casting director and whoever else is there. But also self-taping for first round, it's a lot cheaper. Actors don't have to pay for travel. You can pick what take you want to send, all of that stuff. So pros and cons, but it's definitely impacted the industry a lot.
Would you say social media has had a big impact on the movie industry? Because we've seen a lot of like stars on, TikTok, on Instagram and stuff, who have just been literally put into movies and shows. And obviously it's difficult for other actors and actresses to get in because they're paying, money for lots of drama school or other things as well, and they're not making the cut.
I think that art will always prevail at the end. I think if you are a dedicated and talented performer, yes, you might not be discovered from your TikTok page, but if you are creating work for yourself instead of wallowing, which this is not an attack. I think that wallowing is very needed sometimes, and feeling sorry for yourself and feeling defeated, because it's very tiring putting yourself out there all the time.
Yeah.
But I think if you're making work for yourself, if you're putting yourself out there, good things will come, And I think being the best you can be in a indie fringe production or in a Netflix series or in a Sony film, they're all the same level. Just putting your heart and soul into your work, I think, always pays off. And I think being truthful, as long as you're being truthful, no one can deny that. And I think regardless of who's being discovered where, that still stands regardless,
Yeah, completely agree. So 2022, what are your goals? And as an overall, when you sort of come to the end of career, what do you want to look back and say, right, this is what I want to have achieved?
2022. Oh, my goals. I think I want to look back on 2022 and think I did interesting things in my personal life and career-wise. I want to, again, talking about truthfulness, I really, really want to, whether this happens in 2022 or further down the line, I really want to work with a director who has also written the piece, because I do think that makes a big difference sometimes, because you're talking to the writer and the director in that moment where you're talking about a scene, and they have complete sort of autonomy over the script. They can change what they want to change, they can do all of this, and it's much more a personal conversation sometimes, I think. So that's something that I really am looking forward to doing at some point. Telling stories that mean something to me, as well as knowing for a fact they mean something to other people.
Yep.
Definitely that. Yeah, just stuff that is very grounded in reality and social issues of today. I think that's what I'm very focused on right now in my zone. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving stuff like musicals, but even then in musicals you've got very grounded stories and things. So I think just grounded and truthful, and that's what I'm going for in life and in career.
Brilliant.
This year.
Go for it. I wish you all the best. So final question, anyone sort of in your position that's looking to make that breakthrough and having some difficulties, for any actor or actress, what advice would you give
them? Again, I think, this is the advice I would give them. This is my motto: be everywhere. And as I say, I can acknowledge that it's really exhausting putting yourself out there all the time, but be everywhere is what I tell myself. Even if I think just showing up really counts for something. Even if you're really tired, even if you look like shit, like I really think that just showing up counts for something. And if you show up every time, or if you show up 98% of the time, there will be that one time where it all falls together. You look great, you sound great, you feel great, you're feeling whatever it is, you're feeling the character, and the right person happens to be there and they happen to gel with you and all of that. So that's what I would say. I'd say be everywhere.
Brilliant. I could not agree more. Because what from you saying is, you may have your ups and downs. You may get 1,000 no's, but that's that final one, yes. And that's like you're saying, truthful stories as well. It's like, for me, if you're starting somewhere, it relates to me as well, because if you want to work your way up, you've got to start small. And I completely agree with you. So thank you very much, Rachel, for joining us. And I wish you the best of luck for your rest of your career as well.
Thanks. It was so lovely to meet you.
Thank you. It's lovely to meet you too. Take care.
You too. Bye.